Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to share with you my 5 favorite keto breakfast recipes. Make sure to check out the description box for extra detail. First, we're going to go ahead and do a fun little scrambled eggs concoction. You'll need 2 cups of spinach, an avocado, a tomato, 3 eggs, about a quarter cup of salsa, butter, and seasoning of your choice. We're going to go ahead and put the pan on for, it's about medium-high heat right now, and we're going to melt the butter. Now I'm using an avocado oil butter. You can use regular butter, that's definitely keto friendly as well, but I wanted to try out this one. Once your butter is completely melted or almost completely melted, you're going to go ahead and put in your 2 cups of spinach. This does cook down a lot. It may look like a lot right now, especially for just one meal, but it does cook down. And for my seasoning, I'm just using an Italian seasoning and garlic salt. I'm going to go ahead and mix up the spinach to get it evenly coated with the butter and the seasoning. I'm going to cover it for just about 2 to 3 minutes, and you'll see how quickly this cooks down, and it really does not leave you with a lot. I'm going to turn the heat down just a little bit to medium-low. And then I already cracked my 3 eggs into a glass to make it easier, so I'm just going to go ahead and pour that out. And the trick to really good scrambled eggs, you want to make sure you keep moving them around, because if you leave them, it's going to create an omelet. Basically, your bottom will just cook all at one piece, so you want to just keep it moving. Next, we're going to just go ahead and cut an avocado. So you want to cut down the middle, and twist it, and then kind of twist it in your hands and pull it apart. And be very careful when you're taking the pit out. Make sure you don't cut your hand. But you hit it, twist it, and the pit comes right out. This is how I like to cut the avocado. I just slice it, and then I take a spoon and I spoon it out. Does anyone else think that avocados are extremely expensive? I think this was $2 for one avocado, which I feel like is crazy. Then we're going to slice up a little Roma tomato, or any tomato of your liking. And our eggs took maybe 5 minutes to cook. You just want to keep stirring them. And believe it or not, I usually plate my food like this. I think that it's really enjoyable to kind of make it look nice, whether I'm recording or not. I just like to make it look pretty, and then I just enjoy eating it. This stuff I love. This is just an olive oil vinaigrette, and I pour it over the avocado and the tomato, and then I go ahead and I put the eggs down, and of course we just do salsa on top, and this is the finished product. You can also just put salt on the avocado and tomato if you'd like, instead of the dressing, or just do an oil. Up to you. So recipe 2. Doing some sausages, cottage cheese. So you're going to need link sausage. I have maple flavored, butter, sugar-free maple syrup, eggs, salsa, seasoning, cheese, and cottage cheese. We're going to start on medium-low heat. You're going to go ahead and spoon in, I'm using about, let's say, half a tablespoon of butter here. Great rule for cooking is you just eyeball. If you feel like you need more of something, you add more. If you feel like it doesn't taste, to your liking, you add, you change, things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and drop all the link sausages on the pan. I'm just going to separate them. And I'm going to leave them sitting there for a few minutes and then turn them every maybe 5 minutes. From one side to the other, to the other, to the other. So kind of 4 times. Now I tried to use this little pan for my eggs, but it took forever, even though it came out really cute. So I just ended up flipping it onto that big pan. All I did was crack the egg onto the pan. I put down a little bit of salt and then the cheese on top of that. And that would be the shredded cheese. I think that was mozzarella. that was it for this one, guys. Super easy. And I didn't eat all of these sausages at once. I did put those away for another day. Then sugar-free maple syrup. This is really good with those maple flavored sausages. Then we got the eggs. And then the last and probably the easiest part is just the cottage cheese. And I buy these little containers. I love these because it's a really good serving. So all I'm going to do with this one is I'm just going to throw the salsa right in there and just mix it up. This is one of my favorite snacks. I also like to just put tomato in with a little bit of Italian dressing. It's so yummy. I don't think this looks too appetizing, that cottage cheese, but it's honestly so delicious. And then, of course, tomato on top. Recipe 3, protein pancakes. You're going to need butter, vanilla extract, pumpkin spice, cinnamon, protein powder of your choice, milk, and then eggs, and I don't know what that last thing was. I don't remember. Oh yeah, the sugar-free maple syrup. So you're just going to go ahead and throw everything into a bowl. You have your protein powder in there, and that was about a cup. I'm going to put 1 egg, about a teaspoon of vanilla extract, or however much you like to your liking, a ton of cinnamon that I love, pumpkin spice, and I'm going to take my tiny little whisk, and I'm going to whisk it all up. I'm going to add another egg. Now with this, you want to watch it to make sure it's the consistency that, like a pancake mix. So you're just going to add things as you go. So you'll see that I added an extra egg, I added a little bit more milk, and then you can even add water if you need it to be a little more runny. And then mix, 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 mix forever and ever. There's a little bit of water I added just to make it a little bit more runny. And then this is the consistency where you want it to be. That way you can just kind of drop it onto the pan and it'll expand as it hits the pan. And I just did a vanilla protein powder, but you can do anything that you like, any flavor you enjoy. You're going to go about medium heat, like medium low-ish. And do a little bit of butter again. And then I just drop mine with a spoon. I feel like that's the easiest way to do it. And you don't want to spread them out too thin, but you also don't want to make them too thick because they'll take a little while to cook, but if they're too thin, you won't be able to really flip them. So you just kind of let them drop, and then they'll kind of make their way and get their shape. Now a good trick that I use that gives me a hint that they're ready to be flipped is when you take the pan and you move it, you'll see that they move. See how that one is ready? The other ones are still kind of stuck. So you just kind of wiggle the spatula. Sometimes you need to help it along a little bit. But wiggle the spatula and then just flip it over. And they don't have to be perfect. As you can see, I screwed up a couple of them. They were still delicious. And I would say they took about 3, maybe 4 minutes each side. They cook very, very quickly. Yeah, see, that one wasn't ready quite yet, but that's alright. Make sure you guys check the description box too. I'm going to have a link to my blog, and I'm going to have all of this written down, everything, the ingredients, the measurements, and directions in my blog. That'll probably be up in another day or so. And with this batter that I made, I was able to do about 8 pancakes total. could also do like a crepe. You could take a smaller pan and just do a whole little thin pancake and just have one or two. Then what I love doing is putting butter on top of the pancakes, and this is again the avocado oil butter. And then I pour the sugar-free maple syrup on top. And we are good to go with breakfast number 3. I love making these because I noticed that some of the ones you buy in a box, the protein pancake mix, has a lot of carbs. Next is one of my favorite egg muffins. You're going to need about 9 eggs, green peppers, tomatoes, butter, garlic, onion, spinach, I have turkey bacon here, and cheese. First things first, you're going to want to preheat your oven to 350. I'm going to go ahead and just finely chop this onion. Well, not this one specifically, but your own. You can use the red ones, but I find that I like the yellow ones more in this little savory muffin. So I just cut it in half, peeled it, and then how I do it is I just slice it, then I turn it, then I slice it, then turn it, slice it, and turn it. And then I go ahead, take that, and I just cube it into little tiny cubes. Go ahead to medium-low heat, and I use a little bit of olive oil, or excuse me, avocado oil, and I just put those onions right on the pan, and we're going to saute those for a few minutes. Then I put the minced garlic in. You can mince your own garlic. I like using the one that's already minced in the jar. I have one of those in the fridge. And I wish you guys could have smelled this. It smelled amazing. So you're just going to move it around, that way it doesn't burn on one side. And then we're going to go ahead and put that aside. And then we're going to get our turkey bacon. I use this one. I really love how turkey bacon tastes. And I'm really just starting to dislike how fatty and salty regular bacon is, so I really enjoy this one. It took about, I think, 5 or 6 pieces. You're going to slice them long ways, and then you're just going to cube them. Used to before just make the bacon and then cut it afterwards after it was cooked, and that was so much harder. This is such an easier way. You're going to go ahead and just drop that right into that same pan that you sauteed your onion and your garlic in. Same amount of heat, about medium-low. We're going to take half of a green pepper, and we're just going to chop it into little slices, and then take each slice and just cube it into pretty small pieces, because we're going to separate these this mixture into muffin tin, so you want everything to be pretty small. And that's about where my bacon was when I was finished. So I put the garlic mixture in there, and I just mixed that all up. Cut your spinach, you're just gonna put it in a ball. Basically just hold it and chop it. I'm gonna crack all 9 eggs. I found that this was the perfect amount to fill the muffin tin. And this is the fun part, you're gonna throw everything in. Throw in your spinach, your tomato, your pepper. You can even do mushrooms if you'd like. You can take out the tomato if you don't like it. You can substitute a lot of different things. I'm just going to throw everything into that bowl. We're going to take our tiny whisk, and we're going to go to town. Notice I didn't add any extra seasoning. The bacon is a little bit salty. I just didn't find it necessary to add anything. You have a lot of flavors going on in there. And you're just going to go ahead and fill up your muffin tin. I actually did not put any oil or anything down, and they came out completely fine, so you don't really need to do any non-stick spray or butter or anything. And at this point, your oven should be preheated, so you're going to go ahead, put those in. Oops. Oops again. Oh, and I did sprinkle cheese on top as well. I did forget that part. Best part. I think I just used a cheddar, might have been a cheddar Monterey Jack. We're going to set our timer to 30 minutes and let the magic happen. Please, please be careful. Obviously, this is going to be very hot. Please don't burn yourselves. And then I always put down a like a kitchen towel. That way it doesn't, the heat doesn't destroy or doesn't damage the granite. So you're just going to let that cool for about 10 minutes, and after 10 minutes, you can take a butter knife and kind of take the duller side and go around and kind of cut them out. And this is what it looks like. Jam-packed of goodies. And what I like to do as well is put butter on that and just eat it. When they're warm out of the oven, you put the butter on there, oh my gosh, they're amazing. And these are great to just stick in the fridge and reheat the next day. Breakfast burrito. This one, you will need low-carb tortilla wraps, riced cauliflower, cheese, some ground turkey or beef, some butter, an onion, eggs, mushrooms, and avocado. So you're going to go ahead and chop up your mushrooms. Normally, I just take the core out and then the top peels away, but for some reason with these I had a really hard time, and also my hair was in a lot of the shots, so I had to edit this out pretty crazy. But you're just going to chop up your mushrooms. Now this one is a little bit more of an intricate recipe, so this one I do like at night when I have time, and then I have leftovers for a couple days, because the amount that I make for this, you'll see, is leftovers for a couple days. Next you're going to take half an onion. You're going to go ahead and chop that up finely. And we're going to saute the mushrooms and the onions. So we're going to go again, medium-low heat, some butter. Throw those mushrooms and the onion in the pan. I am actually going to salt these because I feel like mushrooms, when you saute them, they do need a little bit of salt. They lose a lot of flavor. I'm okay, I just hit my hand on my printer. And we're going to go ahead and mix that up. And while you're doing that, we're going to go ahead and start the turkey. I love, especially when I'm meal prepping, to just have like a bunch of things going at once. So we're going to go medium-high heat for the turkey, and I am going to use avocado oil, probably about 2 tablespoons. I'm going to make sure to keep the mushrooms and the onions moving so that they don't burn on any side. Throw that turkey right in there. And you're going to go ahead and take a spatula and just break it all apart. And you'll see I'm just going to go back and forth to keep everything moving. Make sure the meat doesn't burn. Then I'm going to throw in that riced cauliflower. I did go ahead and remove the onion and the mushrooms when they were, kind of sauteed to my liking. And the riced cauliflower, if you thaw it out, like the night before, when you throw it on the pan, thawed out, it only takes, honestly, maybe 5 minutes to cook. And this is a great substitute for rice. It kind of makes you feel like you are having that carb without really any carbs. And obviously you want to cook your meat till it is completely cooked through and brown on every side, everywhere. You don't want to leave any pink, any red anywhere. We're not doing beef tartare. Then going to add a little bit more oil because it was sticking to the bottom of the pan. And I am going to add some seasoning. We're going to add a little bit of garlic salt. And then this other seasoning I used for the first time, but it was amazing. It's a sun-dried tomato basil seasoning. Oh, it was so good. And obviously you can use whatever you'd like. You can add chili if you like it hot, crushed red pepper, anything you'd like. You can even add like honey mustard, make it a little bit sweeter. I'm going to go ahead and throw the onions and the mushrooms back into the riced cauliflower and mix that all together. I didn't want to leave the mushrooms and the onions on the pan while I was cooking the rice cauliflower because they would have burned. So we're going to go ahead and crack in 2 eggs. Just kidding. 3 eggs and 4 eggs. And we're going to move that around, give it a good scramble, scramble, scramble. It's going to become a little bit mushy. You'll know when it's done. It won't be runny anymore. Unless you want it like that, which is also fine too. But once you throw it in the meat, it probably won't be runny anymore. It'll scramble up pretty well. So just throw all that mixture into your beef or your turkey, whatever you're using. Just make sure your meat is completely cooked before you put this in there. I'm going to go ahead and mix that all together. I'm going to go ahead and grab a low-carb tortilla. This tortilla only has 5 grams of carbs, which I love. We're going to take this olive oil vinaigrette dressing. And we're going to do about a tablespoon on that tortilla. We're going to just spread it out. And I did about 2 of those like wooden spatula spoons in one. But obviously you can do less or more, however you'd like. I'm going to go ahead and kind of mush it together so that I can close the wrap. And normally I would just eat it like that. I wouldn't really worry about making sure it's closed. But for the sake of the video, I want to make it look pretty. And of course, cheese on top. You can never have too much cheese. And of course, avocado as well. Get your healthy fats in there. On keto, trust me, you eat a lot of cheese and a lot of avocado. So this was more for show for you guys. And there it is. And like I said, the amount that we used in this video to make this will last you about 4 days. I think it lasted me 3 or 4 days. Alright guys, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, leave me your comments. I love you guys so much.